Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Dak Prescott issued warning about possibly leaving Cowboys. Dak Prescott should maybe think twice about leaving the Dallas Cowboys. With Prescott on the verge of entering the final year of his deal with the Cowboys, there's speculation regarding whether or not the three-time Pro Bowl quarterback will leave the Cowboys next offseason. While Prescott will have no shortage of suitors and free agency if he chooses to go down that route, former head coach Herm Edwards warns the NFL MVP runner-up of thinking twice when it comes to leaving Dallas. While appearing ESPN's First Take on Wednesday, July 3rd, the 70-year-old former coach argues that Prescott is not going to play for a better team if he decides to leave the Cowboys. "You're not going to play for a better team," Edwards said about Prescott. Who challenges him? The Philadelphia Eagles, the Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers. That's who they got to deal with. That's who Doc has to deal with to get to the Super Bowl. And that's what he understands. If you understand that and say, well, hey, I got the best team I can play on right now. I go somewhere else, I got to start over. Why Dak Prescott should consider staying with Cowboys. Edwards makes a fair point considering the NFC as a conference itself is stacked. All of the aforementioned teams already have franchise quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and Brock Purdy. To make matters worse, the AFC, which is seen as the stronger conference, already have teams with franchise quarterbacks locked in on long-term contracts such as Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. That's not even mentioning fringe contenders such as the Atlanta Falcons, already having signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million contract in the offseason. Why Dak Prescott should earn big money deal if he leaves Cowboys? There's little doubt that Prescott could sign a big contract that mirrors, if not exceeds, the one Cousins signed this offseason. Considering Prescott is coming off of the best season of his career and is actually 5 years younger than Cousins, without coming off of an injury, he could very well earn at least $50 million per year on his next deal. According to Spatrack, Prescott's projected market value is $53.1 million per season across 4 years for a total of over $212 million. That would make Prescott the third highest-paid quarterback on an average annual basis in the NFL. However, he'd likely land with a far less talented team than the one he currently plays on. Although Edwards is a fan of Prescott, he does make sure to mention his lack of playoff success with such a talented supporting cast. The Cowboys had the second most Pro Bowlers, 7 last season. "I'm a Dak Prescott fan," Edwards said. "But when you've only won 2 playoff games, when you've only won 2 in your whole career with a team that is stacked, offensively and defensively, he's in the best situation he could be in. It remains to be seen whether or not the Cowboys are able to lock in Prescott to a long-term deal. However, the two sides have been in communication regarding a new deal. If Prescott does decide to leave Dallas, he needs to be prepared for the likely possibility that he'll be playing for a less talented team." Concerning photo of Cowboys QB Dak Prescott sparks questions. Look, Dak Prescott's standoff with the Dallas Cowboys over a new contract just got a lot more interesting as the quarterback was spotted in a walking boot. NFL reporter Dov Kleiman reposted a viral photo of Prescott wearing a walking boot on his right foot. League insiders quickly reported that Prescott is dealing with a minor foot injury. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott, spotted here in a protective walking boot, is dealing with a very minor foot sprain and has been for a few days. NFL Network's Ian Rapoport detailed in a July 4th, 2024 message on X, "It's not considered to be anything that should affect his preparation for 2024. Dallas Cowboys, Com's Nick Harris, also weighed in on the Prescott photo. "The consensus is that Prescott's injury is not anything serious, but it is less than ideal for fans to see the Cowboys' star quarterback in a walking boot less than 1 month before training camp begins." Me and Joe J. Hoyt had a conversation about Doc wearing flat-bottom shoes during minicamp, but I honestly haven't thought much of it since, Harris said in a July 4th X post. Doc has been known to exchange the cleats for those when he has some foot-ankle discomfort. Dak Prescott attempted to calm Cowboys fans' fears. Prescott attempted to calm any concerns about his health. The star quarterback told Fort Worth Star-Telegram's Clarence Hill Jr. that he has worn the walking boot when he goes fishing as a precaution since sustaining a season-ending ankle injury in 2020. Prescott has battled a series of injuries in recent years, but was able to play all 17 games for Dallas in 2023. The quarterback missed just 5 games for the Cowboys during the previous season. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott's next contract is projected to be a 4-year, $212 million deal. The Cowboys and Prescott have yet to reach an agreement on a long-term contract extension. Prescott is headed into the final season of a 4-year, $160 million contract. The quarterback holds no trade and no franchise tags in his deal. If no new contract is signed, Prescott will be an unrestricted free agent in 2025. All indications are Prescott is headed for a sizable raise. Spotrac projects Prescott's market value to be a 4-year, $212 million deal. Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, and Trey Lance could all be free agents in 2025 as things stand. Prescott, Trey Lance, and Cooper Rush are all slated to be free agents next offseason. The Athletic's John Makoda still believes that Prescott and Dallas will eventually reach an agreement. His contract situation will be one of the biggest NFL stories all season if nothing gets finalized, and he ends up playing out the final year of his contract. Makoda noted in a June 27th story titled, "The Cowboys' Most Important Players for 2024. Dallas needs big seasons from its big three." That could end up being a distraction. It could also end up being something that leads to Prescott having the best season of his 9-year career. Would Jerry Jones really allow a Cowboys franchise QB to walk in the prime of his career? Maybe, but it still seems more likely than not that both sides will figure something out between now and March. Malik Hooker says discipline of Mike Zimmer should help Cowboys defense improve. Cowboys defensive players love Dan Quinn, who left as the team's defensive coordinator to become Washington's head coach. They won't love Mike Zimmer as much, but could the defense be even better than it was under Quinn because of that? Safety Malik Hooker seems to think it's a possibility. "I would say the biggest difference is the discipline that we are going to have this year," Hooker said on Keyshawn Johnson's All Facts, No Breaks podcast via Ivan Lambert of USA Today. Quinn was the Cowboys' defensive coordinator for 3 seasons, and the team ranked 4th, 9th, and 6th respectively in yards allowed and 19th, 12th, and 5th in points allowed. He won Assistant Coach of the Year in 2021 after taking over a defense that was the worst in team history in 2020. "I love DQ," Hooker said. "We still talk to this day. He's a big reason why I am still in Dallas to this day. There is a certain way you have to coach certain guys. I feel like because of how player-oriented DQ was, guys would relate to him, and he wouldn't have to coach a certain way that Zim does now. Mike Zimmer will give you a couple of chances to mess up. If you keep messing up and can't get it right, he is going to get somebody else in there. Dan Quinn, on the other hand, is more player-oriented. If something wasn't going right or we kept messing up, he'd level it down, make it easier for everyone to go out there and do what they were going to do." The Cowboys coaching staff, all of whom are on 1-year contracts, will begin the 2024 season on the hot seat. And after not doing much in free agency, owner Jerry Jones is expecting the Cowboys to do more with less.